Welcome back to the deep dive. Our mission, as always, is taking these really dense, sometimes channeling sources and just breaking them down, getting to the core insights.
Basically giving you the essentials, yeah. We want to make this high concept stuff, understandable, but also keep the curiosity, maybe even a bit of the cosmic humor.
Exactly. It's about seeing how deep philosophy can sit right next to, well, everyday life details.
And today, we're tackling some really radical ideas about reality, about consciousness, stuff that was channeled way back.
That's right. Our source material for this deep dive is Session 5 of the Early Sessions, Book 1 of the Seth material.
Okay.
And the specific date for this one, it's Monday, December 9th, 1963 at 9 p.m.
1963, wow. And these early sessions, they're known for these massive swings, right? Intellectually speaking.
Totally. You've got this Q&A format happening. Jane is channeling Seth. Her husband Joseph is asking questions.
And the questions themselves really set the stage. I mean, 1 minute it's about dental work. The next, it's interstellar travel. It's quite the mix.
It gives it this really unique feel, kind of disorienting, but also really intimate somehow.
Yeah.
So before we jump into the nuts and bolts, just the usual heads up, we're distributing this deep dive totally free on all the major platforms. It's for educational purposes.
Absolutely. Understanding consciousness, reality, that it should be accessible.
Yep. Couldn't agree more. So, okay, let's start where the session starts, which isn't, the grand meaning of life. It's a toothache.
Right. Joseph had dental work done that same afternoon. And his first concern, basically, is, did the dentist mess up? Am I okay?
It's so relatable. That immediate practical worry really grounds the whole thing in the physical, doesn't it?
It does. And the response is fascinating because it's not just philosophical. It's like an energetic status report.
What does it say exactly?
The answer comes back. The tooth and nerves and roots are now at rest. Sensation will now be normal. No poison.
Whoa. Okay, that's pretty specific and immediate.
Exactly. It's like this instant energetic stabilization confirmation, almost like a remote diagnostic.
It's kind of chilling in a cool way, like getting this high-level, cosmic, all clear on your dental work.
Well, yeah. And what it does, I think, is it sort of establishes credibility right off the bat. If this source can supposedly, confirm something immediate and physical like that.
Then maybe the bigger cosmic stuff has some weight too. It connects the esoteric to the body.
Precisely. It builds a little baseline of trust before things get, well, much weirder.
Okay, so from the tooth, we pivot pretty quickly to money and career. Joseph's asking about work stuff.
Yeah, he's wondering about taking a part-time gig with a place called Artistic and just generally is he on a right track with his current course? Standard human concerns.
Totally standard. We've all been there. What's the advice?
Well, this is where we get one of those classic, almost sassy Seth moments about earning more money. The response is basically, your problem, you already know. Have confidence you will solve it.
Huh. That's brilliant. It's like, stop asking me. You know the answer.
And then it adds, you have made your living often enough before. Ha, Joseph.
Ah, Joseph. I love that. It's got this little playful jab, but it's also, fundamentally empowering, right? It forces him back on his own inner knowing.
Exactly. It refuses to give him the easy answer, the specific instruction. It's saying, trust yourself, you've got this.
But there's a layer too, isn't there? About anger.
Yeah, it connects the money thing to emotions. It says earning more relieves some of your anger at your employers. So it's not just about the cash.
Right. The financial stress is maybe amplifying some underlying resentment. Solving one helps the other.
Makes sense. But then when he asks about his current path, his general direction.
Ah, does it get more supportive then?
Oh, completely. It shifts from that sort of dismissive your problem to this really strong affirmation. It says, then do so. Strength, purpose, talent, and inclination you have on your side, they bring success.
Okay, now that's powerful. That's the grounding reassurance. You have the tools. Just use them.
It's a core theme, isn't it? Success comes from aligning with your inner purpose, your talent, your inclination. Not from some external guru telling you what to do.
Yeah, that's a great takeaway for anyone listening who's kind of wrestling with their own path. The universe or the entity or whatever is kind of backing your innate talent.
Right. Follow that feeling. Which actually leads nicely into the next bit about religion.
Yes. Before we leave Earth entirely, the question is basically, does it matter which specific religion you follow?
And the answer is beautifully simple. A clear no.
No?
Well, no, but with a really important qualifier. It adds, except that rigidity and closed minds can be detrimental.
Okay, so the structure isn't the point, it's the attitude.
Exactly. And then it says, Not dogma, but feeling is important.
That feels like the ultimate chill spiritual advice, doesn't it? It's
Yeah.
about the vibe, the feeling, the openness, not the specific rules or doctrines.
If your beliefs make you rigid and closed off, that's the problem, regardless of what the belief actually is.
It's about flow, not the fence, which seems like a good place to transition.
A perfect bridge, yeah. Because if rigidity is bad, maybe our ideas about space and time are a bit too rigid as well. Session 5 certainly suggests they are.
Okay, let's unpack this. We've covered the tooth, the job, the religion. Now we zoom out. Way out. Starting with Earth's history. Have there been other complex civilizations before us?
The answer is yes, but it's the how that's really mind-bending. They existed in another phase, coexistent spatially, but not simultaneous time-wise.
Yo, okay, let's slow down there. Coexistent spatially, but not simultaneous time-wise. What does that actually mean?
I mean, it fundamentally challenges our linear view of history, right? It suggests that time isn't just one track everyone's on.
So it's like, imagine this physical space, right here where we are.
Yeah.
It could be hosting multiple time periods, multiple civilizations, all layered on top of each other, but just out of phase.
That's the implication. Like different TV channels broadcasting in the same room, but you can only tune into one at a time.
Yeah.
They occupy the same spatial coordinates, but different temporal frequencies maybe.
So you could literally be standing on the site of some incredibly advanced ancient city right now.
But because you're tuned to the 21st century frequency, you just perceive, well, whatever's here now. You can't see or interact with that other time phase.
That makes archaeology seem complicated. You can't just dig for it.
Right. Access might require shifting perception, not just digging deeper. It suggests history isn't just a line of dominoes falling. It's maybe more like layers, potentially all still active in their own phase.
So past civilizations aren't really gone. They're just on a different time setting in the same space. That's a lot to chew on.
It definitely is. And it raises questions about whether physical laws are even the same across these different phases.
Okay, moving outwards. Stars. Do other stars have planets?
Simple answer. Certainly. No hesitation there.
But then it gets interesting when Joseph asks if Seth, the source, can travel to these places, like the Milky Way or Arcturus.
Right. Travel is possible, yes, if I choose, is the quote. But then comes this fascinating caveat about cosmic ethics or, procedure.
What's the caveat?
Seth says, however, I have other considerations. I would be stepping out of line. Nothing but good sense prevents me.
Stepping out of line. What does that mean in a non-physical context? Is it like interfering, like a prime directive sort of thing?
It seems like it. It suggests a structured reality even for non-physical entities, like there are responsibilities, maybe commitments to certain planes or incarnational cycles, like Earth.
So just zipping off to Arcturus for sightseeing might be unprofessional, a misuse of focus or energy.
That's how it reads, stepping out of line. It implies rules, consequences, a sense of duty, even for beings unbound by our physics. It suggests restraint and responsibility govern consciousness itself.
Good sense prevents me. That's quite understated for potentially universe-hopping power.
It is. But that focus, maybe that's what allows for specific details, because when asked directly about Arcturus,
yeah. What does it say?
the information comes very casually. 5 planets, 3 are inhabited.
Just like that. 5 planets, 3 inhabited. Wow.
Yeah. But then immediately clarifies that our definition of life and habitable is way too narrow. It says, all life is not your type life. Many inhabitable places would seem uninhabitable to you.
Okay, that's crucial. We're judging habitability by our standards, which might be completely irrelevant elsewhere.
Exactly. And if we can't even recognize what's habitable out there, it sets the stage perfectly for understanding why we might be missing visitors right here on Earth.
The big one. Alien visitation. This is where it gets really, really interesting and kind of funny.
Definitely memorable. So Joseph asks, has Earth been visited? The answer. Constantly. Not strange that this is so.
Constantly. Okay, but why don't we see them if it's constant?
This is the twist. The explanation is just chef's kiss. It says alien lives can't see each other, bunk into each other, and feel no scratch.
Okay, wait. Invisible alien bumper cars? Is that what we're talking about?
That's the image it conjures, isn't it? Earth is this massive multi-dimensional intersection, and everyone's just passing right through each other because they're on different frequencies.
So if they feel no scratch, they're not physically interacting on our level at all. They're operating on completely different sensory rules, different physics.
Different idea constructions, maybe. If reality is built from ideas and perception, as we'll get to, then these visitors are running a different reality program in the same space.
Their density, their visibility, their interaction with matter, it follows a different set of agreed-upon rules than ours.
Exactly. So we're both here, maybe sharing the exact same coordinates in space, but our sensory systems, our reality filters, just don't register each other.
It makes the whole "where are the aliens" question seem kind of naive. Maybe they're everywhere. We just lack the equipment to perceive them.
We're tuned to Earth FM, and they're broadcasting on, Arcturus Galactic Radio. We just pass through each other.
Is there any hope for detection, according to the session?
Yeah, there's a hopeful note. It suggests that human science will evolve. We'll eventually find ways to detect life that our current senses miss. We'll build the instruments, essentially.
So we'll learn to tune into the other stations eventually, find some we can recognize.
That seems to be the idea. The limitation isn't necessarily out there, it's in here, with our current sensory setup, our fence, as the poem later calls it.
Okay, the fence. We'll get to that. But first, let's dive into the structure of consciousness itself, moving from cosmic neighbors to the self. How is the individual consciousness put together, especially regarding reincarnation?
Right. The session tackles the idea of the entity, the larger whole self. And the general rule stated is that an entity usually has only one at a time main focus on the Earth plane.
Only one main incarnation active at once.
Typically, yeah. But then it introduces this other concept, fragments.
Fragments? Okay, what are those? Are they like lesser parts, mini-me's?
The definition given is they are not on Earth plane at the incentive entity. But crucially, they are still living and vulnerable to forces, same forces to which all Earth life is.
So they're separate expressions of the same core consciousness existing elsewhere, or maybe in simpler forms. And they're still subject to physical laws.
That's the idea. It's like consciousness segmentation. The entity puts its main developmental energy into the human incarnation, but it also has these other feelers out, experiencing different aspects of reality.
What's the point of that why segment?
Maybe for broader experience, the fragment is vulnerable, learning, experiencing, but perhaps without the full weight of the primary identity's complex psychology and karma. It allows the entity to gather data from many different points simultaneously, perhaps.
Like running multiple small experiments alongside the main project?
Could be. Which leads directly to that really startling question Joseph asks about insects.
Ah, right. Are insects fragments?
The answer is a simple yes, followed immediately by difficult to explain.
Difficult to explain? That's telling, isn't it? Like human language barely has the concepts for this?
Exactly. But the implication is huge, that the vast, incredibly diverse world of insect consciousness, all that instinct, that simple survival focus is somehow connected to, or of a fragmented expression of, larger entities.
So, maybe an entity uses insect fragments to explore basic physical mechanics, pure instinct, survival responses, without the complexity of human emotion.
That's a very plausible interpretation. It suggests consciousness isn't just in humans, it's distributed everywhere, perhaps serving different learning functions for the larger self. And maybe that's why evolution took so long.
You mean the time it took for animals to evolve before humans appeared?
Yeah. Joseph asks why animals were here for so long before us. If entities are involved, why the huge delay?
What's the reason given?
The answer frames evolution as this immense, deliberate construction project. It says it took that long for entities to build human images.
Build human images. So it wasn't just random mutation and natural selection waiting to happen.
According to this, no. It was an active process. Entities were learning how to manipulate energy, how to form matter into a physical vehicle, the human body that was complex enough to house the kind of self-aware consciousness they wanted to experience on Earth.
Wow. So evolution becomes this top-down, intentional design process, not just bottom-up chemistry. They had to build the hardware before they could run the sophisticated human software.
That's a great analogy. Perfecting the interface, the sensory apparatus, the brain complexity, it all had to be constructed to properly support human consciousness.
And is that construction project finished?
Apparently not. The session confirms this process continuing on Earth now, entities coming and going.
So the cosmic workshop is still open? Humans might still be a work in progress, or new forms are being developed?
It suggests the dynamic, ongoing creation, which brings us right back to the idea of reality itself being constructed.
Yes, let's tie it all together. The conversation then links Jane's ability to channel the stuff back to her childhood experiences, right? Something called the playground.
Yeah, it mentions her playground intuition and poem. as being the trigger, the initial spark that eventually led to this whole body of work. It validates her own inner knowing as the source.
Which sets up the absolute core question of session 5, the big one. Do our senses literally create the physical world we experience?
And the answer is unambiguous. Yes. Physical world is idea construction, as all worlds are.
Okay. Boom. That's the mic drop moment, isn't it?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It underpins everything else.
Yeah.
The physical world isn't this solid, objective, out there thing that we just passively observe.
It's something we actively build with our minds, with our collective agreements.
Through our senses, based on shared ideas. We agree on the rules. Gravity works like this. Wood feels like this. Light looks like this. And our senses then translate that shared idea blueprint into the physical experience.
So the solidity of this table isn't inherent in the table itself. It's inherent in the idea of table that we collectively project and perceive through our senses.
That's the radical implication. We're co-creating it constantly based on these agreed-upon idea constructions.
Which explains the aliens again. They're just running on a different idea construction, different sensory agreements. So they phase right through our solid walls.
Exactly. Their idea of wall is different or non-existent in relation to ours, and it explains why it took entities ages to build the human body they needed, to perfect the sensory hardware, to reliably translate the human reality idea set.
The body has to uphold the agreed-upon idea. Okay. And Jane's big project, her book, was meant to explain all this, right?
Yes. The session focuses heavily on her upcoming book about idea construction, and the predictions about it are super specific.
What are the details?
It predicts it will take 2 years from beginning to finish, and corrects an earlier assumption, saying it will actually be 3 volumes in all.
3 volumes. That's a major work.
Huge. And it predicts publication no later than 1 year from finish. The assessment of the content, simply excellent.
But it wasn't going to be easy getting it published.
Right. A warning of some difficulty, but guaranteed eventual success, yes. Which makes sense. A book saying reality is just an idea, construction would definitely face resistance from the established, materialist viewpoint.
Yeah, challenging the very foundation of perceived reality tends to do that.
But the key thing about the book, according to Seth, is that it's not the end point. It's described as only the root. It will flower often.
So it's foundational. A seed concept meant to spark countless other explorations and understandings later on.
Precisely. The starting point for a whole new way of thinking about reality.
And we actually get a glimpse into the poetic roots of this idea through Jane's own poem, The Fence, which is mentioned.
Yeah, dated May 1963, just before these sessions really took off. It's included in the source notes, and it's fascinating. It vividly explores the body as this sensory barrier.
How does it describe it?
It uses this amazing imagery of the body as a crisscrossed flesh mesh, something that tastes like peach and feels like peach fuzz, very immediate, very sensory.
And it's still a barrier.
Explicitly, it calls the body the crisscross fence, with wires cunningly connected.
The senses are the wires, connecting us but also fencing us in.
Exactly. The fence is built roundly and snug, about hidden landscapes, suns, and shadows. The very things that let us see the peach, or what stop us seeing. Everything else. The other time phases, the aliens.
Our senses define our little patch of reality, but they also build the fence around it. It makes it feel kind of limited.
It does, like we're peering through tiny holes in this flesh fence, only seeing a fraction of what's actually there.
But the poem offers a way through, right? How do we get past the fence?
The final lines are key. Even though the holes are small, dreams travel wondrous wires.
Dreams. And intuition, presumably. Like Jane's playground experiences.
Exactly. It suggests that altered states, dreams, intuitions, these aren't just random brain noise. They are the primary way consciousness can actually bypass the physical sensory filters.
They're how we connect to those hidden landscapes beyond the fence. They're the interdimensional communication lines.
It gives dreams and intuition a real purpose, a real validity, as tools for exploring reality beyond the purely physical construction.
Okay, so wrapping this all up, if we had to boil down the key takeaways from this incredibly dense Session 5, what would they be for you, the listener?
Well, first, I'd say the universe is way more crowded and complex than we think. We're surrounded by other realities, other beings, mostly invisible to us due to our sensory limits. So, you're probably not alone in your kitchen.
Right, the alien bumper cars are real, just maybe not physically real to us. Second takeaway, trust your inner self. That hot Joseph vibe. Strength, purpose, talent, they come from within, and following them brings success. Don't outsource your knowing.
Third, ditch the dogma. Rigidity closes you off. Focus on feeling and intuition. That's your connection, not strict rules. It's about the vibe, not the structure.
And the biggest one, physical reality isn't fixed. It's an idea construction, collectively built and perceived through our senses. We're co-creating this experience based on shared agreements.
Which is a profoundly powerful and maybe slightly scary idea.
It definitely is. And if these ideas resonate, if you want to go deeper, we really encourage you to check out the original source.
Absolutely. This deep dive is based on the Seth material, specifically Session 5 from the Early Sessions Book 1. The publisher is the New Awareness Network.
You can find the books, explore the context, and really immerse yourself by visiting their website and bookstore. It's https://sethcenter.com/the-early-sessions.
Yeah, definitely worth exploring the original transcripts. There's so much nuance there.
Okay, so for our final provocative thought to leave you with today, building directly on this core concept from Session 5. If the physical world is truly an idea construction shaped by our senses and collective agreements, and our body is just the fence limiting our perception, then what new intentional idea constructions could you personally begin building today? What foundational ideas could you start cultivating to perhaps create or at least perceive a new reality just beyond the current reach of your senses?
What idea are you choosing to construct right now? Something to think about.
Definitely something to mull over. We'll see you on the next deep dive.